It's my boy Rick, man. Hey, are you still racing motorcycles?
No, not racing anymore.
Rick got his captain's license and he's captaining boats out of which marina?
Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey. Rick and I did, remember that sailboat trip on Halloween?
Yeah, it was my first captain job, and the boat was called Initiation, which
well, that's what it
we were
was.
Definitely initiated by weather.
Look at this thing.
Yeah, this was my race van back when I was racing around America.
And then you lived in it for a while.
Well, yeah, I kind of lived part-time in that and in a boat.
Do you have any more Cretan stickers?
I probably do, actually.
I got to give you some stickers before you leave. I just had to show this van off and show off Rick because Rick's one of the coolest guys ever. And I do you remember 2004 San Francisco Motorcycle Club?
Yes.
I'm going to tell the story.
Okay.
We drove home together. There was a whole bunch of us up there, and we're on motorcycles. We're driving back. You remember we stopped for a break at one point? By the way, you're doing like
breaks.
yeah, but you're doing like 150 miles an hour. I think my bike maxed out like 110 or something.
The old CBR.
That was crazy. And we stopped, and I was asking you what you want to do. And
really?
you said to me, you said, well, I don't want to say anything, but you feel funny about it. It's like, I really want to be a race car driver.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I mean, you're already kind of doing motorcycles. Why don't you do that? Do the motorcycle thing. And then what did you do?
Well, I couldn't afford race tires, so I got into motorcycle racing.
And then how many races did you win?
Well, combined with the 3 or 4 different series I've raced, I've got over 100 podiums. So lots of racing.
And it's vintage.
Well, no, I started out in vintage, and then I got into Battle of the Twins. And then when I started Battle of the Twins, I went to Daytona 2010, and I won. I got second the first day and the second day.
So Rick's a badass.
That's where it all started.
And then out of the blue, seemingly to me, because I didn't know you had an interest in this, you go and get your captain's license for boats.
Yeah. I changed professions. Got out of the motorcycle industry, and then I got into the boat industry.
What's your Instagram?
Ricky Racer. Still Ricky Racer.
It's still Ricky. Go to Ricky Racer on Instagram. This guy goes all over the place in these boats. He's got a great life, and I'm so happy for you. And
we've been friends for a long time,
man.
like 20 years, man.
At least.
Yes,
at least.
Yes.
So anyway, I just wanted to show off his van because I think it's like Mad Max kooky crazy. Look at the size of this thing. Check that shovel out, man.
Yeah.
Is that like a marine shovel? Is it stainless steel? Looks like it probably is.
I think it's steel. My best friend Wyatt, he's a van guy too. He gave that to me.
All right. Well, we'll say goodbye. I'll catch you guys next time. Be good to one another. All right. So Rick just left. Got my Cretan sticker on here, and it's figured good opportunity to tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you the sailing story. Don't know what you guys can see here, but I got to put the shirt on because of the mosquitoes, and I'm about to attempt some shock mounting. But so yeah, Rick, man, we used to ride motorcycles together with this motorcycle group club called the Cretans. They're really like a drinking club with a motorcycle problem. You know, that's really what's going on there. And I never joined. They tried to get me to join at one point. Everybody's got a nickname. And the nickname's usually based on something that you ended up doing on a motorcycle. I remember one night we were at the bar and one of the girlfriends came over to me and she's like, "Hey, T-Bone! What's up, T-Bone?" Because I got massively T-boned. I think I told that story on one of my leather jacket videos. And so yeah. But anyhow, that's another story. So Rick, like we were saying, he's a boat captain now. And I don't remember when this was. It was several years ago. On Halloween. Bad things happened to me on Halloween. I try to remember to stay home on Halloween. I've been arrested on Halloween. I have had relationships end on Halloween. When I say arrested, I've been arrested more than once on Halloween. And all sorts of crazy things have happened on Halloween. So here it was, Halloween. I wasn't even thinking about it. Rick calls me up. He says, "Hey, man, got to do so I got to sail this boat from Oxnard." I think it was Oxnard or further up somewhere. There's a marina up there. up in Ventura County. Ventura, I think it was Ventura Harbor. I don't even know what it's called. And he says, I got to get it down to Marina Del Rey. You want to come with? I've got a little experience on boats. I can't, if I was to sit here and go try to get the nomenclature down, all the terminology, it wouldn't be correct because it's not on the forefront of my brain right now. But I did grow up on a barrier island, so I've been in little sunfish sailboats to decent-sized sailboats to big fishing boats and Boston whalers of every size. So I've got a little experience. And so it ends up, it turns out that the boat was actually out of New Jersey. And it was a tiny little 16-foot wooden sailboat, single mast. And, you know, that, I don't know what geez, I'm terrible with the terminology right now, but it had one of those, the thing that goes into the water to stabilize the boat would come up inside the little cabin in there. There's pictures of me. I had on my profile page, I'm wearing one of these caps. I think it was the camo one, and I'm sitting in the back of the boat with the, steering it. That was that day, and there's some pictures of me and Rick from that day, and they were all taken in the marina. I think the day before we sailed the boat, we took the boat through the marina and just to check things out. I want to make sure that the motor worked. I had a little 4 horsepower engine on it, and everything was golden. So we spent the night there, and then the next morning we got up real early, before the sun came up, and packed the boat and took off. And the marina was fine. We get out there, we get to sail up, and we get out past the harbor, we get out into the ocean, and I recorded a lot of this. I shot some video of it, and I remember that day I posted some of it up on Instagram. And we got to a point where the water started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the mighty crew, yeah, we could have been dead that day. We hit high seas. Now, I've been in rough waters before, but I don't think I've never been in rough waters where I was on such a small little vessel. It was bad. And it started off where, like I said, the sky got dark, man. Dark. And there was not another boat on the water as far as you could see. And we're on the ocean, out in the mighty Pacific. And the water starts slow, cresting over the bow, cresting over the sides. I'm like, oh, Rick is like, oh shit, this is going to get rough. So now Rick had just gotten his captain's license. It's his first time doing something like this. And I was so impressed with this guy, man. And it was 3 hours at least of high seas, rough water. And it got so bad and the wind picked up so much. And we got to sail out. The boom's out, totally out here. The rails are in the water. They're in the ocean. We're sitting on our feet or on the rails. We're locked. We got our bodies locked in. It's just crazy. And it's like the first hour, you're Captain Dan. Like, yeah, bring it on. This is so cool. Yeah. You feed off that energy, You get 3 hours into it. You're like, oh, God, just let this fucking end already. Just let it end. Let it end. And you're drenched. Nothing's dry. Everything's wet. We get out, once we got far enough out to like where we got around the Point Magoo out there, it was funny because it was still rough, but you could tell it was starting to die down. A helicopter came out from the base and they're hovering over us. I guess they wanted to see if we needed any help. It was pretty crazy. There must have been a high seas warning or something because there wasn't anything else out there. Anyhow, once we got past Point Magoo, we're coming towards Malibu, and the sun comes out. The wind dies down. And it was funny because I was posting on Instagram, and I got a buddy who owns a compound in Malibu up in the mountains there overlooking everything. He actually saw us out there. And afterwards he called me. He's like, that was you out there? We were looking going, why are these guys out there in such a tiny boat? Because we were way out there. Anyhow, all of a sudden now there's no wind. Sun is out, no wind. So you got to use the engine, right? So we got this little 4 horsepower. We start using the engine, and after about 25, 30 minutes, the engine wouldn't work. It was overloaded. Got some kelp that was caught on it, cleaned all that off. Could not get it to go. So Rick had a call for a tow from Marina Del Rey. And I think they did. They came out and they got us. We got towed in. We had all our clothes and everything out on the lines. on the mast and whatnot, the boom for the mast there, and had everything drying out. But I think it was a 16-hour day, at least 16 or 18 hours on the water. And by the time we got back, and boy, were we spent. But it was a good bonding experience to have with a good guy, good friend. Rick's a great guy, and like I said, he races, and he's no joke. He's the kind of guy that he sets his mind to something and he gets it done. So it's one of my favorite people, and we don't get to see each other enough. He's got his life, I got mine. That's how it is, right? Most of the people that you respect the most are kind of busy with their lives, just doing stuff. So I'm going to make a point to get down to the marina. He's living on his sailboat down there. He came by, he bought some. I should have made it for him, but he didn't give me an opportunity. He bought some top that's all warped. He's going to try to work in his boat. He's trying to sell it. But that's it for now. As I said a few minutes earlier, be good to one another. Have a great day, and stay tuned.